So this is how to set up your environment for Gokey's CMPE 130 class, which is Advanced Algorithms. The first step is to simply Google Python, go to the website, follow it, the download tab to the newest version of Python, and download this new version of Python. It's important to note that once you download this, your computer will have two different versions of Python installed on it, and I'll get into that a little bit after once this Python version is completely downloaded. But to quickly summarize the two different versions, one of them is basically pre-installed on your computer, and the other one is the one that Gokey will use in his lectures and his labs and all the homework assignments. There are very nuanced differences, but there are differences. For example, Python 2 may be more beneficial to use in some projects, whereas Python 3 is simply more effective in other scenarios. So it's really up to the person in charge or the person who's making the project to determine which version they will use. So as we wait for Python 3.7.4 to finish its installation, I think it would be beneficial to show you that there are in fact two different versions of Python on your machine at this point once it's installed as it is now. So if you open up a terminal window and you type in simply Python, oh, this is not a computer, by the way, that's why you see back trin and not Prabjyot Obhi. But if you simply type in Python, you'll see you get 2.7.10. I don't know what that typo was, but yeah, I did that too. So, and then if you type in Python 3, you can see it's a different version, which is 3.7.4, which is what we installed. So, just a quick glance overview of what we just did. And that's me showing you, I don't know why I did that. I forgot I was going to do a voiceover. So once the Python 3.7.4 has been installed, the next task we need to conquer is the installation of the IDE. And in this class, we're going to be using PyCharm. Now, the installation is incredibly simple, kind of like Python's was. You go to the first link, you go to download, and then you click the community tab, download. And this will take quite a while to completely download. It's a very big file. After the download has been complete, you simply click it and you drag it from the window to the applications folder so you can open it and actually use it. The first time you use it, there will be a pop-up that says it's downloaded from the internet. Do you really want to trust this? And you would say yes, because if you want to do your homework, you would trust it. So when you first open PyCharm, there are some things that are just easier to do as soon as the window opens, and that is changing the interpreter, which is essentially determining which version of Python you'd want your PyCharm to follow. In our case, we want to follow 3.7.4, not the 2.7, and I think PyCharm has it set so it's truncated to simply 3.7. So coming back to what's on the screen here, these are simply the recommended settings to run PyCharm on, and for the most part, they're fine. The only thing that you need to change, as previously mentioned, is the system interpreter, or if you want the light mode, you can change that too. So after you get through all of these hoops that you have to jump through to finally start using PyCharm, to be able to change the interpreter, this is how it would be done. So the window opens, you go to configure, and you go to preferences. After this opens, you go to project interpreter on the bottom left. Once you click that, you go to the gear and you hit add. Then you go to this drop down menu and you see it's on Python 3.7. I accidentally clicked that, my bad. Unclicked it. You hit OK, and then you hit OK, and you're fine. And you see here that at the top there's pip and another packet installed which comes with the usage of 3.7, and you hit OK to that, and now you change the interpreter. Now you can create a new project. And what else do you name your first project as opposed to anything besides Hello World, which is the quintessential first project name? So you can have tips set on every time you open the PyCharm. I find that it gets annoying sometimes. You gotta wait for this to load. But after it's done, you can simply hit, you can uncheck the arrow, or you can hit next tip if you want it. I totally skipped it. So to open a new file, you simply right-click on the project name and you click Python file, which I did. So now you open the file and you can start, I guess, coding for the first time in Python. Now I know a lot of you have practiced coding in C++, which is fine, but I think Python is a much simpler language. And to demonstrate this, I gave the controls over to a friend who had no experience coding in any language at all. So if he can do it, I believe people who have experience in C++, which is a much harder language with a lot more pitfalls to fall into, can do it and get a quicker understanding than he did. So he did make some mistakes, but I think it's important to note that Python does not have any like data types. So int, char, bool, all of those are gone. They're simply objects. Oh, you can see in the bottom left, he tried to compare uh, like just an object to a number for a for loop, which doesn't really work in that case. But that's fine. He learned he meant to do an if statement as opposed to a for loop. Now he's just making a list and appending. After he appends his items to the list, I think I'm going to show you the basics of the git commands that you need, and you'll see how I played with Python in terms of like strings and literals and characters and different types of data types, even though they're not really data types in Python, as I said previously. But I just did some Googling and determined I could probably play with this, and I played with it. And I think a lot of you should also get in the habit of simply playing with your interpreters, playing with your code, trying to have fun. Now we get into the git controls, which are important for the class because you're going to be pushing and pulling a lot. Here are the ones that you need to know. Apart from git clone, which is something Goke should cover when he gives you the homework repository, which you need to pull from. So to show you the other four in action, I first changed a line of code in this Python script, which I named playing with Python. So I simply added hello world. So to run it, you right click and you scroll down to run the whatever your name is. And this is simply showing you that each section of the code works. So to use those commands, first you open up terminal and you need to change your directory or CD into the folder which holds the code, which I'm using the one from last semester. And once we're here, we can get the status to see if everything is updated or not, which is git status, and it's not. So use git add dash dash all, which simply adds it, which then we need to commit. So git commit dash m, and your message simply adds a message to whatever code you push, which the message should be informative. And finally, we git push origin master, which shows you that it was pushed to your Bitbucket account, which to create, you simply go to Bitbucket and create the account. It's not that hard. It's like creating a Gmail account. And this is showing you that the code was successfully updated in the Bitbucket repo. And to show you that you can also go to GitHub and push here as well. I scroll down to playing with Python, the actual thing, and it was not updated to GitHub because I did not push to GitHub. So to update that, I simply type git push compy130, which was the name of the repo I had for this class. And if I refresh, it will show that it is updated. And to show you that the code is also updated, I go to playing with Python and I scroll down all the way to the hello world script that was there, that wasn't there previously. So this shows you the basics of the git commands, how to use them. The next logical step is to show you how to pull your homework. So to do this, I'm going to my GoCase projects folder, and I'm going to the Git menu that I just glanced over. And after this, I'm going to do the pull, and I'm going to make sure that what I pull from is the homework that I cloned from Goke. So that repository is what you pull from to get your homework, and I think that's all you need to know at the start to be able to do your homework and I guess start playing with Python. And I think that's it. Have fun in the class.